The gravel crunches under my tires as I pull into Grandma Eleanor's driveway, and I'm already on the edge of tears. 12 hours in pediatric scrubs will do that to you. 12 hours of crying kids, worried parents, and that look they give you, like you're supposed to know everything. My old silver Ford pickup drags up the drive, slow as syrup, like even my truck knows what's waiting inside that tired gray farmhouse with its peeling paint and porch that leans just a little more every year. I should have come straight here after my shift, but instead I sat there in the hospital parking lot for 20 minutes, just breathing, just letting myself be still. Marcus's BMW is already there, crooked up by the steps. Sophia leans against it, scrolling her phone with that wild energy she gets when something's not going her way. Her father's next to her, face bright red, stabbing his phone so hard I think he might crack the screen. I don't care what the bank says. Marcus's voice booms across the yard. I need more time. I duck my head, pretending I don't hear any of it. That's kind of my thing. Sophia doesn't even glance up. Dad, I just lost a six-figure brand deal. If this old woman doesn't leave us this house, we are finished. She says it like Grandma is just some obstacle that finally got cleared out of their way. My knuckles go white on the steering wheel, but I don't say a word. Never do. I just grab my purse and head for the door, eyes locked on those warped steps I've climbed my whole life. The screen door creaks, same as it always did. Used to mean coming home. Now it just feels like a warning. Inside, the place is packed. Every seat taken, people lining the walls, conversations dropping to hushed mutters as soon as they spot me. I scan the faces, cousins I barely remember, neighbors from down the road, Uncle Robert with those big, worn-out hands folded in his lap. Mom waves from the love seat. Sarah Thompson, 53 and still trying to keep the peace, still trying to make everyone happy. She's saved me a spot. When I sink beside her, she squeezes my hand. Her palms damp. "You okay, honey?" she whispers. I nod. Easier than telling the truth. The room smells like old coffee and the lavender sachets Grandma tucked in every drawer. I close my eyes for a second, and I'm right back here for years ago. Right after Grandpa's funeral. The house too big, too quiet. Grandma sitting in the kitchen, frowning at a brand new tablet like it had insulted her personally. "I'm too old for this, honey," she grumbled, shoving it at me. "Nonsense, Grandma. You've got this." I'd pulled up a chair, showed her how to tap and swipe, how to check her email. She'd been so frustrated at first, stabbing at the wrong buttons, sighing every few seconds, but then she got it. Her whole face lit up. "Well, look at that," she'd said, grinning. "I'm not completely useless after all." We sat there for an hour, just the two of us. She asked about my life, my dreams. I told her I wanted to open a clinic someday, someplace for kids whose families had nothing. Kids who just needed someone to care. She nodded, slow and serious, her eyes sharp as ever. Now that is a fine legacy. A door opens somewhere in the back and I snap back to the present. Mr. Daniel Hayes steps in, lugging a leather briefcase that looks older than me. He's in a stiff navy suit, face blank. The room shifts, everyone staring. Hayes takes the head of the room, sets his briefcase down with a soft thud, and pops it open with 2 quick clicks. "Thank you all for being here," he says, voice steady. "As you know, we're here for the reading of Eleanor Thompson's last will and testament." My throat tightens up. Hearing her name out loud, it just hits me again. Hayes pulls out a stack of papers, slides on his glasses. Mrs. Thompson was very specific about her wishes. "Let's begin." He starts with the small stuff. Robert gets $50,000. Robert nods, eyes bright and wet. Mom gets $80,000, and she covers her mouth, already crying. Then Hayes looks over at the Harrisons. "To Marcus Harrison and his wife I leave $20,000. Marcus actually scoffs. His wife mutters something, but her face says enough. "To Sophia Harrison, I leave $10,000. Sophia goes stone still, her hand clenched around her phone. Hayes clears his throat. "As for the remainder of the estate, including the farmhouse, the surrounding 20 acres, and all financial assets, valued at approximately $4 million, I leave it to stop." Sophia's on her feet, voice sharp enough to slice the air. Everybody turns. She points right at me. Before you say her name, Sophia says, everyone needs to know that Kalani is a thief. The room explodes, gasps, whispers, the kind of muttering that crawls right under your skin. Someone behind me hisses, what? I can't move. I can't even breathe. Everything narrows, like I'm looking through a straw. Sophia steps up, her voice getting louder, more sure. Over the past 8 months, she says, things have gone missing. A Rolex watch. An emerald necklace. Silver coins. $60,000 worth. Just vanished. She turns toward everyone, milking it, like she's on stage. And who is here every single weekend? Who had a key to every room? She wasn't just visiting Grandma. She was casing the joint. Marcus nods, jumping in. Yep, we've all noticed things missing. Laura, one of Mom's friends, pipes up from her corner. I saw Kalani at the pawn shop downtown. 6 months ago. Didn't think much then, but now. I remember that day. Grandma asked me to take some jewelry to get appraised for insurance. I drove her. She was right next to me. But I can't say that. My voice is buried somewhere deep, locked away after years of keeping my head down, letting things slide, anything for peace. Mom squeezes my hand, harder now. Kalani, say something. I try, open my mouth, but nothing comes out. Sophia flashes this tiny, smug smile. That's when it hits me she's been planning this. All of it. Hayes raises a hand, and somehow that simple move slices through the chaos. Please be seated, Miss Harrison. Sophia freezes, mouth still open. Sit down. Hayes's voice doesn't get louder, but it's sharp as a blade. She drops into her chair, limp, like her strings got cut. Marcus sits too, his jaw clenched so hard I can see the muscle twitch. Hayes pulls out a laptop. Then a small black hard drive. He sets it on the coffee table, like it's Exhibit A. Mrs. Thompson, he says, saw this exact thing coming. My heart skips. The room goes silent except for someone's shaky breathing, maybe mine. Marcus stands again. What is this? You can't record people, that's illegal. Hayes doesn't even look up. It's perfectly legal in your own home, Mr. Harrison. I suggest you sit down. Marcus doesn't. He just stands there, fists balled, face going from red to purple. Hayes opens the laptop, not rushed at all. Mrs. Thompson found out about the theft 8 months ago. She wanted to call the police right away. 8 months. My mind spins. Grandma knew. She knew and never told me. But Hayes keeps going. I advised a different approach. We waited. We documented. We built a case for conspiracy, fraud, and slander. The word slander hangs in the air, thick and choking. Sophia's face goes pale. She looks at her dad, but Marcus's eyes are glued to the laptop, like it might blow up. I'm still stuck, silent. But something inside me starts to shift, like an old door unlocking. Hayes's office. 8 months ago. I can see it, even though I wasn't there. Grandma would have sat across from him, back straight, hands folded, those sharp hazel eyes, my eyes, missing nothing. Daniel, she would have said. They're family. That's why I have to do this. I know exactly how her voice would have sounded. Angry, but steady. Always steady. She never cried. She'd lay out the facts like reading a recipe. The missing watch, the necklace, the coins. Then she'd say what she always said about doing the right thing, even when it hurts. I won't let greed destroy my innocent granddaughter. Hayes would have nodded. Suggested the plan. Wait. Watch. Document. Build a case that stands up, Grandma would have told him. Conspiracy. Fraud. Whatever it takes. She would have nodded once, final, unshakable. Do it. The memory blurs, and I'm back in the living room. Hayes is hooking the laptop up to the TV over the fireplace, the same screen where Grandma and I watched cooking shows every Sunday. There are 2 main culprits here, Hayes says. His voice is steady, almost bored, like he's just reading the news. Miss Sophia Harrison, who pulled off the thefts. And Mr. Marcus Harrison, who helped and profited from them. That's a lie. Marcus yells. Nobody else says a word. Neighbors along the wall lean in. Mom's squeezing my hand so tight now it hurts. They're desperate for money, Hayes goes on, still ignoring Marcus. Miss Harrison's brand deals have been falling apart. Mr. Harrison's vape stores are underwater. The loans are bigger than the buildings. The bank's been calling, asking for money back. And how does he know all this? Of course he knows. Grandma would never let him walk into a mess blind. She always made sure everyone knew where they stood. For them, Hayes says, this house isn't just about money, it's survival. The TV screen jumps to life, black and white video playing. I spot Grandma's office right away. Her desk, that old filing cabinet, and the window with the garden view. Someone steps into the frame. Sophia. The timestamp says 8 months ago, 2:47 p.m. She's moving fast, all business. She yanks open the desk drawer, slips something into her jacket. Silver coins. I see a glint just before they're gone. A gasp breaks out, actually several. The room hums with whispers. Sophia's face goes pale. She tries to speak. Can't. Tries again. That's not I didn't, but the video keeps rolling, silent and deadly. Mom lets go of my hand and moves closer, shielding me from Marcus's side of the room. Robert is on his feet, face hard and angry. You accused my niece, he says, voice rough. You looked us in the eye and blamed her. Some cousins shrink away from Marcus and Sophia, picking sides. Mrs. Jenkins catches my eye and gives a tiny nod. Just once. But it means something. The video stops. Hayes digs into his briefcase, pulls out a green velvet box, the kind you get jewelry in. He pops it open, and even from across the room I see the emerald necklace. The stones grab the afternoon sun. Good news, Hayes says, and his voice softens. I managed to recover the emerald necklace before it was sold. He brings the box over and sets it in my lap. I stare at it. Grandma wore this necklace every holiday dinner. Grandpa gave it to her for their 40th anniversary. My hands shake. Hayes turns back to the room. The will has a morality clause. Anyone who stole from Mrs. Thompson loses their inheritance and owes the full replacement value, $200,000. Doesn't matter what the fence paid. Marcus's face shifts. I watch him do the math. 200 grand. Money they don't have. This is insane, Marcus says, but his voice sounds small now. Sophia's crying, really crying. Red face, runny nose, no dignity in it. I close the velvet box. The snap echoes through the room. Grandma knew. She saw this coming. She planned for this exact moment. She knew I was outnumbered, and she gave me everything I'd need to hold my ground. The laptop stays hooked up to the TV. Hayes's hands move with surgical precision, flipping through files I didn't know existed. My chest tightens like someone's squeezing the air right out of me. There's more, Hayes says. Sophia shifts in her chair, her phone forgotten. For the first time, she looks unsure. The screen changes again. New footage. 3 months ago. Kitchen camera. I recognize the table, Grandma's pie dough table. Marcus and Sophia sit across from each other, leaning in like a couple of crooks. I told everyone Kailani's casing the joint, Sophia says, her voice clear, bright. She's actually smiling. By the time the wills read, everyone will think she's the thief. My stomach drops. Marcus nods, tapping the table. How much did the watch bring in? Her grin widens. 30,000. The emerald got 40. That's 70 total. The room erupts. Someone behind me gasps so loud, it sounds like choking. Uncle Robert launches up, fists clenched, but another cousin grabs his arm. Laura covers her mouth, white as a ghost. Mom's hand clamps down on mine so hard it hurts, but I barely feel it. I'm staring at Sophia on that screen, laughing about framing me. Stealing from Grandma and pinning it on me? How could she? Sarah's voice slices through the chaos. She's up now, glaring at Marcus and Sophia like she's never seen them before. How could you do this to family? Marcus waves her off. This is entrapment. Mother was senile, manipulated by lawyers. He points at Hayes. You took advantage of an old woman. Mrs. Thompson was fully competent, Hayes says, calm as ever. 2 independent doctors confirmed it. Would you like to see the reports? Marcus works his jaw, but he's got nothing left to say. Sophia tries to stand, but a cousin I barely know blocks her, arms crossed. She drops back onto the chair, phone hitting the hardwood with a clatter. We'll contest this in court, Marcus says, but his voice is shaky. We'll tie this up for years. I can't look away from the TV. Sophia's face is frozen there, caught mid-laugh, looking so smug. Relatives close in around me. Hands on my shoulders, my arm. Laura appears next to Mom, crying hard. I'm so sorry, she whispers. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Other voices pile on. Cousins I haven't spoken to in years, all saying the same thing. Sorry. They should have known. Now it seems so obvious. Sarah stands, her voice shaky but sharp. My daughter spent every weekend here out of love. She took care of her grandmother because she wanted to, not because she was after anything. Heads nod. The mood in the room shifts, like all the heirs moving in a different direction. People who'd been clustered around Marcus and Sophia drift away, leaving them alone in their corner. Hayes shuts his laptop for a second, then opens it again. Mrs. Thompson installed this surveillance system 8 months ago. She was very particular about where she put the cameras. Office. Kitchen. Front door. My grandmother did that? I hear myself say, but my voice sounds far away, like it's not even mine. She did. Hayes holds up his phone, shows it to the people closest. Cloud backup. Multiple secure servers. She covered every angle. For an 82-year-old retired baker, she knew her stuff. Someone laughs, but it's not a happy sound, more like shock and respect mashed together. I remember those weekends. Grandma asking about apps, about privacy settings. I figured she just wanted to FaceTime her friends. All that time, she was protecting me, building a case I didn't even know I needed. My eyes blur. I blink hard, refusing to cry in front of Sophia. Marcus tries again. You can't use this footage. It's illegal to record people without consent. Single-party consent state, Hayes says, not even looking up. Mrs. Thompson had every right to record in her own home. Marcus's face shifts from red to a deep, angry purple. He scans the room for support. Finds none. Sophia hasn't said a word since her voice blasted out of those speakers. She just sits there, staring at the floor. I stand up. My legs shake, but I make it. Stop. The word comes out quieter than I want, but everyone hears. The room goes still. Just stop. Marcus opens his mouth. I raise my hand. Grandma knew. My voice is steady now. She knew everything. Every conversation you had. Everything you took. Every lie. I look right at Sophia. She knew, and she still gave you a chance to do the right thing. You chose this. Tears run down my cheeks, but I don't wipe them away. Let them see. Let them see what all this cost. Mom stands next to me, puts her arm around my shoulders. She protected me even after she was gone, I say. That's what real family does. Hayes straightens. Everyone leans in, waiting. There's one more video. My heart jumps. More? What else is there? Some relatives move to block the doorway. Sophia glances at the exit, but she's trapped. Marcus's bravado just evaporates. His shoulders slump as the screen flickers again. And there's Grandma Eleanor. In her favorite chair by the window, where the afternoon sun made her hair look gold. She's thinner, skin like tissue paper, but her eyes burn bright. She looks right into the camera. Right at us. If you're watching this, she says, voice raspy but strong, the wolves have shown their teeth. The whole room freezes, every eye locked on her. Someone behind me gasps. Sophia tries to edge toward the door, but Uncle Robert blocks her, silent. Grandma pauses, staring straight at the camera at us. I may have been old, but I was never stupid. Marcus starts to rise. This is sit down, Mr. Harrison. Hayes doesn't raise his voice, but Marcus sinks back like he's been shoved. On screen, Grandma adjusts her glasses. That small movement guts me. Marcus. Sophia. I watched you. I saw you steal from me. I watched you plot against my granddaughter. She leans in, and despite everything, her illness, her age, she looks fierce. Family doesn't mean putting up with abuse. It never has. Sophia makes a sound, half sob, half protest. No one pays her any attention. Grandma's expression softens, sudden and gentle, and, before I know it, tears are stinging my eyes. Kailani, honey? Her voice goes quiet. If you're watching this, I'm gone. I wish I could stand beside you while they throw their lies around, but this is the best I could do. I can't catch my breath. Mom's holding my hand so tight now it hurts, but I let her. I don't want to let go. Thank you, Grandma says. She's talking about teaching her to use the computer. About all those afternoons spent showing her which buttons to press. About my patience, even when she kept messing up and getting frustrated. She never felt stupid, she says. Never felt like a burden. She smiles, and it's that same grin she had 4 years ago when she finally learned to check her email. You came because you loved me, sweetheart. Not because you had to. Not for money. Just love. That's rarer than gold, she says. Rarer than anything. Somebody's crying. I think it's Laura. Grandma looks down, then back up into the camera. I remember what she's talking about, the talk we had after Grandpa's funeral. I told her about my dream. A clinic for kids whose families don't have money for doctors. Kids who just need someone to care. Her eyes shine now, and I know she's fighting tears. Fought them, I guess. She filmed this a week before she died. You've got a servant's heart, Kalani. People like you need protecting, because takers will bleed you dry if you let them. My throat is tight, and I'm struggling to swallow. So, here's what I'm doing. Grandma sits up straight. Suddenly, she's all business. The entire estate goes to Kalani Thompson. For $1 million. The farmhouse. The land. All of it. She knows what to do. The room breaks out in this low wave of voices, not the chaos that happened when Sophia started shouting, but quiet little murmurs. I hear things like, good and finally and about time. Marcus stands up, his face turning purple. You can't, he starts. Let her finish, Hayes says. He's got his hand on his laptop, ready to pause the video, but Grandma's still going. Kailani wanted to open a community clinic, she says. A place for every child, no matter what their parents can pay. After-school programs. Counseling. Maybe a playground. Grandma's smile grows big. That's a real legacy, she says. Better than any money sitting in a bank. Better than a farmhouse gathering dust. She made me tell her all of this once, made me describe every detail of my dream, even the parts one barely believed in myself. She listened. She asked questions. She saw it with me. Use this inheritance for your dream, honey. Build something that matters. Help those kids. She pauses, and her face gets this little mischievous look, so perfectly Grandma I almost laugh, even though I'm crying. She winks. And never underestimate a baker with Wi-Fi. The screen goes black. Nobody moves. Nobody talks. Then Hayes closes his laptop, the sound sharp in the silence. He stands and looks around, calm as ever. Marcus Harrison. Sophia Harrison. Your original bequests, $20,000 and $10,000, are gone under the morality clause. Sophia's voice comes out cracked. What? Hayes keeps going, tells them they're both responsible for paying back every stolen item. $200,000. Due in 30 days. Marcus surges forward. We don't have $200,000. Hayes just shrugs. Then I suggest you find it. He pulls out a folder from his briefcase. The alternative is to hand everything over to the district attorney. Theft, conspiracy, defamation. The DA's already looked at the evidence and is ready to press charges. He glances over his glasses. I'm told the jail time is considerable. Sophia is shaking. She says, this is insane. She can't do this. She already did, Hayes says. Marcus turns on me, and for a second, I think he's going to hit me. He reaches for the laptop, but Robert grabs his arm and twists it back. Two cousins I barely know step up, putting themselves between Marcus and Hayes. Don't, Robert says. Quiet, but final. Mom stands and pulls me into a hug. I realize I'm shaking, worse than Sophia, but it's not fear, it's relief, it's grief, and something else, something lighter, like freedom breaking through the ice I've been trapped in. People start congratulating me. Neighbors I haven't seen in years offer to help. Sarah's crying, but she's smiling, whispering, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, again and again. Hayes walks over with a small package, wrapped in brown paper. Mrs. Thompson left this for you, he says. My hands won't stop trembling as I unwrap it. Inside is Grandma's recipe book, the one she kept for 60 years. There are scribbled notes in the margins, smudges and stains on half the pages, decades of kitchen chaos spilt right into the book. Someone tucked a note inside the front cover. Her handwriting is shaky, but I can still read it. For the clinic's bake sales. Love, Grandma. I hug the book to my chest and just let myself sob for a minute. Over in the corner, Marcus and Sophia have drifted away from everyone else. Sophia's glued to her phone, scrolling like her life depends on it, probably brainstorming some kind of damage control for Instagram. Marcus just stares at the floor. All that tough guy energy, his little vape shop empire, the way he always acted like he ran the family, gone. Hayes clears his throat. All documents were properly witnessed and notarized. The evidence is backed up in multiple secure locations. Mrs. Thompson was very thorough. He locks his gaze right onto Marcus and Sophia. Justice is served. And, honestly, for the first time in my life, I actually believe it. 2 weeks after the will reading, someone knocks on my apartment door at 7 in the morning. I'm halfway through my coffee, still in pajamas, and when I check the peephole, Marcus is out there looking like he hasn't slept in days. I crack the door open 6 inches, no more. What do you want? Can I come in? His voice is thin and hollow. Please, Kailani, we need to talk. We don't. He puts a hand on the frame, not pushing, just bracing himself. Your grandmother wouldn't want this. Family shouldn't destroy family. You're right, I say. She wouldn't want theft, or conspiracy, or you trying to frame me for your own mess. Think of Sophia's future. I almost laugh. I did. That's why I watched those videos 3 times, the ones where she plotted to ruin mine. His jaw clenches. $200,000 will ruin us. Then you shouldn't have stolen $70,000. I step back. Goodbye, Marcus. I close the door, lock it, and stand there shaking until my coffee goes cold. That afternoon, Sophia launches her counterattack all over Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. I see her posts on my feed because we're still technically friends. My phone rings before I even finish reading the first post. Mom's crying. The caption says, "When family betrays you for money." My grandmother's estate was stolen by a manipulative cousin who turned her against us in her final months. Elderly abuse is real. Justice will prevail. The comments section fills up with hearts and supportive messages from strangers who have no clue what really happened. By evening, she's posted 4 more times, each one painting me as some kind of villain. Mom shows up at my place with printouts, actual paper copies of Sophia's posts, like she's prepping for court. Karen's getting calls, Mom says. Karen's her sister. Sophia's mom. She wants you to take the money and drop everything. Keep the peace. There is no peace to keep. But family doesn't steal from each other, I say. Family doesn't frame innocent people. And family sure as hell doesn't launch a smear campaign packed with lies. Mom sets the papers on my kitchen table. Some of the cousins believe her version. Then they weren't paying attention at the will reading. The next morning, I find an envelope taped to my car in the hospital parking lot. No return address. Inside is a single sheet of paper, words cut from magazines like some bad movie. Drop this or suffer consequences. I snap a photo and send it straight to Mr. Hayes. His office calls an hour later. Miss Thompson, can you come in today? We need to discuss next steps. Hayes's office smells like old books and lemon polish. He waves me into the chair across from his desk, and I sink into leather that's seen decades of anxious clients. The threats are escalating, he says, folding his hands. We need to decide how far you want to take this. What are my options? Accept their offer and walk away. Or we press charges, theft, conspiracy, fraud. Sophia could go to jail. Marcus probably avoids prison but gets fined, ends up with a criminal record. I stare out the window. Traffic keeps moving, people going about their day, while my life splits in 2. If I press charges, the family will never forgive me. If you don't, Hayes says quietly, they'll know they can get away with anything. I think about Grandma in her kitchen, stabbing at her tablet, teaching herself how to use it at 82 because she refused to be left behind. Planning all of this because she knew exactly who Marcus and Sophia really were. She gave me the tools to fight back, I say. I'm using them. Hayes nods. so we move forward. For a week, Hayes works like he's playing 12 games of chess at once, always 10 steps ahead. He reaches out to every brand sponsor Sophia ever had, sends them official letters about fraud investigations, attachés, screenshots, and emails, real evidence, not just rumors. Contract morality clauses start to kick in. Then he reports the stolen goods, the true numbers, Sophia's side hustle fencing stolen merch, and 3 years of undeclared influencer income to the IRS. Turns out, the government wants their slice of every pie. He even tips off Marcus's bank, lets them know their assets are tied up in fraud and legal trouble. The bank, already itching to shut Marcus's vape shops down, speeds up the process. 5 days later, the local paper runs the story. Grandma's texts and videos, all of it, show exactly how the family theft went down. A reporter interviews Hayes, prints pieces of the court documents, even shares blurry video stills enough to make the story impossible to ignore. That afternoon, Sophia's Instagram goes dark. Her sponsors cut her loose by nightfall. One even posts a statement, "We do not associate with individuals under criminal investigation." Marcus's business collapses in 2 days. His suppliers want cash up front. His partners start pretending they barely know him. On the 29th day, Hayes calls me. "They're here. Can you come?" I leave work, still in my scrubs. My supervisor gets it when I explain. When I walk through Hayes' office, Marcus and Sophia are waiting, looking like they've aged a decade. Marcus's suit is rumpled and limp. Sophia's got no makeup, her hair yanked into a messy ponytail. Neither of them will meet my eyes. Inside, there's a $70,000 cashier's check sitting on Hayes' desk. They sold everything, mortgaged the shops, sold Sophia's BMW. This is it. Their last asset. Hayes calls them in. They look at me like I'm a stranger. I pick up the check. "Grandma forgave you," I tell them. I'm moving forward. Sophia's shoulders slump, relief and shame all at once. But forgiveness isn't forgetting, I continue, and it doesn't erase the consequences you brought on yourselves. This check, this restitution, that's separate from the criminal complaint. What? Marcus's voice nearly breaks. You paid back what you stole, Hayes says. The fraud case still moves forward. I sign the no-contact order Hayes drafted. Marcus and Sophia sign too, hands shaking so badly the signatures barely look like their own. When they leave, Marcus doesn't try to hug me. Sophia doesn't look back. 3 days later, Sophia gets an official letter from the IRS. They're investigating tax evasion, want records for the last 3 years. Marcus files for bankruptcy the same week. And me? I'm standing at Eleanor's farmhouse, watching construction crews break ground for the clinic. I'm holding the blueprints, Grandma's handwriting in the margins. Make it welcoming. 6 months go by. The farmhouse looks different now, or maybe it looks more like it was always supposed to. I'm out front in jeans and a faded gray t-shirt, watching them finish the playground. The swing set shines in the sun, the slide curves in bright colors Grandma would have picked. The new sign by the road says Eleanor's Place, Community Clinic and Center, big letters, easy to spot from the highway. Jack, one of the contractors, nods at me, asks about the after-school room. By the east windows, I say right away. Morning light's best. He just nods and gets on with it. I don't second-guess myself anymore. I don't apologize for having an opinion or wait for someone else to decide. Inside, the old guest rooms and sewing spaces are now full of kid-sized tables, art supplies, shelves of books. The kitchen where Grandma taught me to bake is being fitted with commercial ovens for cooking classes. Her upstairs bedroom is turning into my office, the place I'll run the clinic from. Mrs. Jenkins comes through the door with her walker, her daughter steadying her elbow. They're early for their appointment, not that it matters. Patience, not schedules, runs the place now. Come on in, Mrs. Jenkins, I say, pulling out a chair in what used to be the living room. The furniture's changed, set up for consultations, not family dinners, but Grandma's photos are everywhere. Mrs. Jenkins sits with a grateful sigh. Her daughter says I need one of those tablet things to see my grandkids in California. I grin and pull up a chair. You've got this. Let me show you. She takes the tablet, eyes wide. Oh honey, I'm too old for this. And those words hit me right in the chest. For years ago, almost to the day, Grandma sat in her kitchen, frustrated, stubborn, absolutely sure she couldn't learn. That was nonsense, and I told her so, repeating what the best teacher I ever had once told me: "You've got this." I walked her through it the way she taught me to walk her through things, slowly, patiently, celebrating every little win. When Mrs. Jenkins finally opened her email app, she actually squealed. That look on her face? It was just like Grandma's. I did it. Her daughter wiped her eyes and said, "Thank you, Kalani." Mom's been terrified of technology. Technology just needs someone patient, I tell her. That's something Grandma drilled into me. Mom showed up an hour later with Robert, both juggling boxes of donated supplies. She hugged me tight in the doorway. I didn't pull away or try to make it less than it was. I just let her hold me. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered. Robert set his boxes down and checked out the half-finished walls and shelves. "Grandma would have loved this," he said. "She planned it," I told him, "because she did. Every bit of it. Not just the money, though. Sure, that made it possible. She planned my freedom. She gave me the backbone to stand up without falling apart. She gave me this shot to build something real. Now, every Saturday, the whole family shows up to help. Cousins who barely spoke to me at the will reading are painting walls and sorting boxes. Sometimes they apologize for believing Sophia's lies. I don't hold it against them. Manipulation works because it's convincing. Next month, we're starting a support group for people dealing with family manipulation, for survivors who need a place to breathe. I'll share my story. Maybe it helps someone see that protecting yourself isn't selfish. Grandma always said, documentation beats accusation. I remind the volunteers of that during our meetings. But even more, she taught me that family is supposed to lift you up, not tear you down. Marcus works at a gas station now. A cousin spotted him on Route 9, pumping gas in a uniform with his name stitched on the chest. His vape shops are gone, taken by creditors. He lives in a tiny studio near the interstate. Sophia's still waiting for her trial. The feds don't rush, but they're thorough. Her social media vanished, all those fake perfect photos, wiped clean. She's working retail at the outlet mall now, the kind of job she used to sneer at. I don't celebrate their fall. I don't feel triumphant about what's happened to them. Mostly, I just feel free. Late in the day, after everyone's gone, I stand by myself in Grandma's kitchen, my kitchen, now. Her recipe book waits on the counter, dusted with flour, the pages soft from years of handling. I'm making her snickerdoodles for tomorrow's clinic opening. Sunlight spills in through the windows, turning everything gold. I can hear kids laughing outside, already claiming the playground as their own. On the wall, there's a photo of Grandma and me from that first tablet lesson, both of us grinning. Next to it, a framed dollar bill, the first donation to the clinic. A neighbor gave it, remembering how kind Grandma was. And tucked in the corner, a note in her handwriting I found in the recipe book: "Truth always wins." I roll dough between my hands, smiling, and realize I'm not just trying to keep the peace anymore. I'm living it.